You might not know it from the deserted downtown streets, but Atlanta is a city that's starting to open back up. Here and there, amid the shuttered shops, a few green shoots of commerce. This barber shop to the east of the city is just about keeping up with demand for haircuts. There are new rules set by the governor. They have to clean the chairs and wear gloves and face masks.
We're here trying to make a living in the middle of a pandemic.
And that suits you, does it?
Just being safe. Being safe is the only way to do it.
I mean, in actuality, they actually have to come out here to risk their lives and stuff like that just to cut my hair. It sounds kind of, crazy, but I mean, that's really what they're doing.
What's it like being back at work?
A little nervous, but I'm taking every safety precaution I can.
Yeah, and how long has it since you work?
It's been about maybe like a month and a half, 2 months.
Really?
Yes.
Has that been tough?
Very. I had to get out here and risk it.
What's happening here in Georgia is a great big experiment. Is it possible, is it prudent to ease up on a lockdown during a pandemic and leave the decisions to individual consumers and businesses?
This is where the pressure to reopen has come from. While the population density in New York City is around 27,000 people per square mile, out here in Monroe County, in the middle of Georgia, it's just 55. There are only 2 elevators in the whole county, and according to the Georgia Department of Health, there have only been 19 recorded cases of the novel coronavirus and just 1 death in this county. County Commissioner George Amami lobbied the governor to allow more businesses to open. Many, he says, won't get enough federal help to survive, but they should be allowed to try to save themselves if they can.
Several months or years later, once a lot of the emotion and the fear from this scenario is behind us, we'll be able to look back and say, okay, well, you may have lost your business, but it wasn't because the state told you couldn't open. It was because the demand, was diminished from the effect of a virus. And there's nothing that I, or as a commissioner or the state, can do about that. However, if we're going to close businesses down and tell someone you have no rights to go to work and feed your family because we do not deem you essential, I don't buy that.
For businesses in Monroe County, it's not an easy decision to reopen or not. For now, this pizza restaurant is going to remain takeaway only, but they are pleased to have the choice.
That's been the greatest thing, is that we as shop owners are able to make our own decisions. We don't judge any other person because everybody's situation, financially, employee-wise, all of that is completely different.
But while the state is opening up, federal authorities are insisting that the lockdown should continue. The headquarters for the Center for Disease Control that issues that guidance is right here in Atlanta, Georgia.
The message coming loud and clear from the building behind me is that Georgia, America, nowhere is yet ready to open up their economy. And in that message, they have a perhaps unlikely ally.
Even the president, who's been itching to find a way out of economic lockdown, says the Georgia Governor Brian Kemp is going too far, too fast.
If you ask me, am I happy about it? I'm not happy about it, and I'm not happy about Brian Kemp.
America is a nation founded on the concept of individual liberty. Her statue sits majestically atop the Georgia State House. The balance between the rights of individuals, the individual states, and the limits of federal power have raged here for 250 years. A small knot of protesters believe neither the state governor nor the federal government have any right to stop anyone opening their business in any way they see fit.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about where the federal government, who's supposed to be a foreign emissary for war, peace, negotiation, and foreign commerce, that's their only job per the Constitution. Why are they getting into Georgia business? And why are these guys following edicts that are unconstitutional?
And it doesn't seem to bother some of the Trump supporters here that the president is actually against reopening Georgia right now.
He has his opinion, and I love Trump, obviously. But we're a step forward for the whole country to kind of follow. And at least, we're not open. We're partially open. And that's only for certain people. I'm not open. I work gun shows. My last gun show, I work gun shows. My last gun show was March 15th. That's a big event. So he's not opening, gun shows and festivals and things like that. So, but I support him. I mean, I voted for him, and I love Trump.
Out on the coast, there are signs that some Georgians are tiring of the restrictions, many of which have not been relaxed. The authorities patrol the beach to enforce regulations that can now seem arbitrary. You can, for example, get a tattoo or a haircut in Georgia, but not apparently a tan.
The governor has opened up the beach for exercise only. As long as people are up moving around, walking, running, swimming, doing some kind of form of exercise, they're in compliance.
This is Savannah, Georgia's oldest city. The governor's decision to allow some businesses to reopen, announced at a press conference last week, took city authorities here and all over Georgia by complete surprise.
I think, that's been our issue. And then we're sitting here and we're hearing this and we're looking at each other saying, did he just say that?
The city can't stop businesses reopening, but as the mayor told me, neither can they fully protect customers or, very importantly, employees.
They're frightened, they're scared, understandably, they're perplexed about what this means for them, going to work and now having to go home to their families and to their loved ones. They're very concerned, and unfortunately we really don't have much of a plan because this really kind of caught a lot of us off guard. It's certainly not supported by data and science at this time, and so we're just telling people to protect themselves the best they can.
The world will now be watching Georgia. How far is it possible to leave it to individuals and businesses to protect themselves, to let them decide what risks to take? We are all very much heading into the unknown.